It's time for a little bit of intellectual anarchy, where we engage in extreme truth, extreme common sense, and diversity of ideas. How's everyone doing today? My name is James Salazar. So we're at the end of the year. And the next year is just around the corner. And we're in a very precarious situation in our country. And a lot of our pillars of society are being torn down. And that's not good. That we are having this loosey-goosey, whatever you feel mentality towards how we're structuring society and its pillars, these new pillars based on progressive ideas where there's no difference between a man and a woman, there's no difference between a father and a mother, life, the value of life is subjective, truth is relative, and a full board of lack of intelligence, a lack of diversity of ideas. And a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines thinking and hoping things just will fix themselves, and they cannot. There's been a saying, it's one of the oldest sayings, for evil to thrive is for good people to do nothing. I need you to let that sink in. If you think you're a good person and you don't like these new ideas, then you're the good person that's doing nothing. And you're the enabler of evil. It's hard thing to hear. But this next coming year, we're going to be faced with challenges. We need to start to value things like truth. Whether how, it all started with being politically correct as opposed to being actually correct. And being politically correct means that there's some truths that are too hurtful to say. And as we relinquish that based on people's emotions, it turned out that those truths that were too hurtful to say got lost. And then they were considered untruth. See, once you relinquish truth, once you relinquish its power and its factuality, you, by omission, are saying it's not truth. Because there is no truth that's too hurtful to say. There's only the truth that brings freedom. I need you to let that sink in. You cannot let truth take a back seat to people's emotions or untruths. It must be the highest value in our country, the truth, in the world, because it is what sustains liberty. It is what sustains equality. It is what sustains prosperity. It what sustains responsibility. And as we relinquish truth as one of the pillars of society, the Bible says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. We are in a world of bondage because we are afraid to speak the truth. And those who take make truth a take a back seat. It will be, that position will be usurped by lies based upon how you feel. And how you feel is one of the least accurate measures for anything in life. So in this coming year, it is imperative that we stand our ground. See, I believe in freedom in this country. By all means, if someone wants to change their gender, go right ahead. Someone wants to be married to someone of same-sex, go ahead. But there's pillars of society that must be maintained by the government and by the people, that if we lessen them, redefine them based on how other people feel as opposed to truth, those pillars will crumble and so will society. And it's happened through time immemorial. See, government has a duty to stick and stay and uphold the truth. When it doesn't do that, then that government, that society will turn in on itself. Because if there is no standards of truth and there's only emotions that are the full standards, then the society that was created by these pillars and make a social contract with people based upon truth, you take away that truth, that social contract begins to fail. And ironically, the very snowflake and easily offended and very emotional people who are asking for these pillars to be destroyed are the exact pillars that are protecting them with a social contract of tolerance. But once you get rid of truth, then tolerance is just a suggestion, and then evil people will start to crush the weak. There will be consequences when you redefine the pillars based upon lies and emotion as opposed to truth. And we need to stand tall and say, the ideal, in the perfect world, the ideal that a child is raised by their mother and their father. We see the metrics of there's no father in the home, especially in the black community. And the next racial communities that have the next level, we see that a father is a stopgap. Let me tell you something, if you do not know. One of the most dangerous people in our society is young men, no matter what race it is. And the stopgap to those dangerous people is a father. The things that hold them back from upheavaling society is a father that's been through it. And when there's no father, crime rises. Suicide rate rises. Rape rises. A mother cannot do what a father does. And a father can't do what a mother does. That is an undeniable truth. And as they redefine what the family is, one of the oldest pillars of society, by redefining the ideal marriage, by redefining the ideal gender, the one that you were born with, we're going to run into major problems. We're going to run into an apocalypse. And it won't be the people who don't like it. No, lawlessness will just happen. When you make laws and truth relative to each person, instead of absolute truth that you need to obey by based upon Judeo-Christian ethics, even though you may not believe there's a God, but you believe that the belief there is a God created certain laws that have sustained society. When you take those things away, it doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what you feel. The evil will crush the weak. When you take away the social contract based upon truth. Very unpopular to say, look, you want to change your gender? You want to call yourself gender? I'll call you by your name. I don't care. This is a free country. But when you ask the pillars of society to change based upon those trees, there will be ramifications that we may not be able to come back from. So, take this. Hey everybody, it's James Salazar with James Salazar Media here. If I can just have a moment of your time to talk about some of my shows and some free things I have for you. First of all, on my YouTube channel, I have the Brightburn YouTube Academy, where we talk about mindsets and belief systems of what it means to be an entrepreneur. We also have the Intellectual Anarchy show, where we talk about politics, philosophy, and religion. I think they're inseparable from having a keen mind and intellect. We also have the James Salazar Media podcast, where we talk about pop culture, politics, and futurism. Some free things I have for you. I have the Brightburn Society Facebook group. Here you gather with like-minded people on the same journey you're on meeting your goal, fulfilling your dreams, and what it means to be an entrepreneur. I also have a free handout, an ebook called How to Be Great at Everything You Do Blueprint. And also, if you want me to come speak at your event, or you need some live coaching, you can find both these links in the James Salazar /SLING address, or take a picture of my QR code, and we'll all link you to all this stuff. So thank you for your time and have a good day. Look, hey everybody, it's James Salazar with James Salazar Media here. If I can just have... Sorry about that. Try to jump back in, repeat it. Now, look, I'm not a hater. I really care less what people do. And they can be free to do whatever they want. But when you're asking society to act like these lies are truth, ooh, that's hard to take. That's hard to take. I have no problem you believing in a lie. I think people believe that I believe in lies. I have no problem with that. But to force and compel society to believe these lies, we have to put the foot down, because society is based upon truth and actuality and how the world actually works. We cannot take a back step to that. And the answer is not to outlaw the things, except for having children change their sex before their brain is fully developed. But when they're an adult, I don't want to stop anybody from doing whatever they want to do. There's some people with body modifications. They look like lions now. Whatever. People can do whatever they want. Feel free. Fall in love with whoever you want. Whatever you want. But when you ask society to forego the truth based upon what makes you feel good, because you're not changing society. You're just putting people's objections away. And I get it, because if you can control what people say, you can control what people believe. Especially if they're not thoughtful about what they believe. And that's the big problem in our society. People are not thoughtful for what we believe. I don't want to drag this out, but this has nothing to do whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or anything. Families matter. The ideal family matters. We should always strive for the ideal. The ideal name of genders matter. If someone feels like they're a woman, that's fine. We can act in that, but we're not going to act and pretend like they are one. We'll respect them if they believe they're a dog or a cat, whatever. If that's how they want to do, they want to be a furry, whatever. But to have society make a declamatory statement that gender is fluid, then we got a problem. And there's got to be certain compromise. If you can't change people's birth, what they were at birth, and all these crazy things that they're trying to change in the past, instead of acknowledging the reality that you were a man, you're deciding to say you're a woman, you believe you're a woman, we'll respect you and call you that if that's what you want to be called. But we're not going to say it's right, and we're not going to have society condone it on the federal level, on the state level. You can do whatever you want. But we must uphold things like there are a difference between males and females. And it's all going to come to a head, and you got to know what you believe. You really going to have to determine what you're going to believe in this new year. Because a lot of it's going to be tested. A lot of it's going to be challenging. And the people who have the most wackiest belief are going to try to bully you like you're wrong, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You have the truth and the common sense. They have lost common sense. Truth has escaped them. Common sense has escaped them. And they're fully involved into their emotions. And they think their emotions are valid. And people's emotions are valid, but not over truth. Not over truth. So this is James Salazar signing out as the Intellectual Anarchy. Have a good one.